Welcome to San Antonio FC Fancast. My name is Harry Austin. Joining me tonight from somewhere in the great state of Texas, Rafa, how are you?
Pretty good. Live from Killeen, Texas, home of the Kangaroos.
The Kangaroos?
Yes, that's Killeen High School's mascot.
What, you got a problem with the Kangaroos, man?
I'm not jumping to conclusions.
Well,
unless you want to go to Allison, they're the Eagles, or tomorrow I'll go to Shoemaker, they're the Gray Wolves.
Watch, some high school has the Caterpillars. It's so funny.
And then on Friday I'll be at Lampasas, home of the Badgers.
Yeah, that sounds normal.
Dude, don't fuck with Kangaroos, though. Dude.
I'm not, but I'm just saying, bro. It's like,
no, I'm serious, dude. You don't fuck with them, dude.
No, I get it, but it's like, we're in Texas and we pick a kangaroo.
Not everybody can be the Texans.
True.
Speaking of you, Matt, how are you? Drumming away, getting warmed up for the season?
Yeah, we have a meeting tomorrow, so it's gonna go. Let's see how it goes.
Should I hold my breath? Because last second cancel. I'm gonna call you out, Royce. We were here all day. 10 minutes before the show. Hey, I can't make it.
No, I think it's me. I think me and like 3 other people are supposed to be going tomorrow. So we'll see how it goes.
I hope. Good luck. Like I said, hopefully both sides can work together and create a good fan environment for 2025. Man City, Jonathan Check survives to face maybe Real Madrid.
Yeah, maybe it's a dream come true. We made the Champions League knockout phases. It was looking pretty tight there, but if you dream, if you believe, you can make it happen. Even a small club like City can do it.
I don't even know where to go with that. If you would have told me that Real Madrid would have finished 10th, 11th. Man City barely squeaking in, PSG barely squeaking in until the last 2 matches, I'd have thought you were crazy. But I know Rafa in pre-show said he doesn't like the new format. Do you like the format, Matt and Jonathan?
For Champions
League? Yeah.
I don't really watch it that much, I'll be honest.
Remember, his team's not on the Champions League. They're in the
True. Matt has no reason to care about it. Neither does Harry, to be fair. So.
Oh wow! Here we go.
They're not part of the Big Boys Cup League.
The Cartel 6 keeping Newcastle down, but yeah, that's all right. We're still coming. And,
we'll be waiting.
Spurs just went to the half. I think down. I didn't catch the final score here, but
60-65.
We'll see if the Spurs have the cojones to make some trades or if they're going to stand pat before the season here. But we're not here. We're not the Spurs Fancast. We're SAFC Fancast. So we got some business to discuss. We have players. We have a preseason schedule. We have a preseason match. And we got the Open Cup where San Antonio FC benefited from 901 folding. For that here. So a lot to get to. Let's get started with the first signing here. On the 20th, so 9 days ago, kind of a surprise to me, I guess, as far as for the quality. Signs Alexis Souahy, and I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name. I'm horrible with it. It says per terms, per terms it wasn't disclosed. But Preston notated on a X or tweet, whatever you want to call it, that it is a multi-year deal. For that here, for a center back, it says Alexis is a strong one-on-one defender capable of making big defensive plays in key moments. Said SAFC Sporting Director Marco Ferruzzi brings a strong pedigree of winning in USL, and they're excited to welcome him to the team. He had played recently at Tulsa, where he was the captain, scoring 4 goals in 31 appearances. Before that, he spent a year with Union Omaha to win the 2023 Players' Shield. And he's got a lot to like. He's also played at Lou City and New Mexico United. for that here. So we'll go with you, Rafa. Your thoughts on Alexis?
It's a good signing. I mean, you're bringing experience, quality defender that's been in. Like I said, he was part of Blue City, so he's got that championship pedigree. So it's going to help out, especially with the rotation that we're going to have. Especially if we have a couple of injuries, like with Mitch. Mitch sometimes gets a little yellow card envy.
Yellow card heavy.
Yellow card heavy, and so it's a good fit. And like I said, I think that's what hurt us kind of a bit last year, not having that depth, in the central defense, and is going to bring plenty of, like I said, plenty of experience for this coming season, and we're glad to have him on board.
Jay Check.
Yeah, I think Rafa took some of the points I would make there. He's been a part of a few class organizations, not just in the championship with Blue City, obviously, and New Mexico, obviously not necessarily a perennial contender, perhaps, but it's a well-run organization, and on their year can be really solid. And even Union Omaha in League One seems to, at least from my perspective, have been one of the better, classy organizations there. So he's a guy who's got plenty of experience, who I think should fit in nicely with San Antonio FC. You never know. We'll find out. I mean, we were saying last year, these guys look really great. This is a great roster on paper. Didn't pan out that way. So you never know until the season actually starts, until you get a month or two in. But until we have a reason to be pessimistic, I think there are a number of reasons to be optimistic here.
Matt, your thoughts on the outstanding center back that we signed?
I mean, just gotta wait and see how he plays out. I mean, we got a bunch of center backs this season.
We got 3.
So thought we had a bunch more.
We have 3.
Probably in midfield, but not the center backs.
I swear I thought we had like more than 3. But it's probably the beers talking. Anyways, so but let's see how it goes. Maybe we can see how that height of his goes to just to pick on Jonathan, because I know we were talking about height the last time. But let's see how he plays out. I mean, from what we're hearing from that preseason, he must have did something.
Well, they shut down their Dynamo, but we'll get onto that a little bit later. The other signing, which we kind of hinted at, former SAFC, former L.E.E. state champion, Virginia, and where did he go? Coastal Carolina. Goalkeeper Joey Bartouni has signed a multi-year deal. Now, it does state that will join May upon completion of his degree at the University of Virginia. I said, hey, it could be as early as mid-May. My evil twin, Jonathan Check, said no, it's going to be more like June, because he's not going to just leave May 15th and May 16th be in San Antonio in camp. So probably looking at a May-June arrival. It was announced that it was a multi-year deal. And per Marco Fruzzi, we're excited to welcome Joey back to the SAFC family. Joey was part of our SAFC Pro Academy setup and an ETP program, the late training program. We have followed his progress throughout college since he left San Antonio. He possesses talent and potential and represents both the club's homegrown initiative as well as growing talent pool that is coming out of San Antonio. We look forward to him joining us after he finishes degree in May. So we'll start with you, Jonathan, so that way nobody can steal your points. Your talking points here, since you are our media guru. Your thoughts on the former SAFC Pro Academy and State Championship goalkeeper returning to San Antonio?
Well, hey, if someone steals my points, great minds think alike, I suppose. Yeah, it's something I'd said when this signing was announced is he's kind of doing the reverse Cardoni, if you will. For those of you who remember, in 2022, Matt Cardoni, they knew at the start of the season, okay, halfway through, you're going to leave, you're going to start law school. But Trini's doing the opposite here. He's finishing up his years in college and will be joining SAFC for the second half of the season. So pretty neat also just to see, as far as I'm aware, this is the first sort of SAFC Academy player to go off, get some more experience in college, or, at least in college. We've had a few, like Ethan Bryant, for example, who may have gone back or, gone somewhere else and then come back to SAFC. But this is the first I can think of where it's like a true Academy player that played for a few years and is now coming back here. So that's going to be just nice, sentimentally nice for him to be back home, I suppose. Obviously, coming out of college and all this, you don't necessarily expect him to jump right in. And, as you hinted at, even if he's able to join in mid-May, he'll probably still take a couple weeks to bed in at the very least. And I also, maybe Rafa would know more about this, but I feel like sometimes colleges they're actually allowed to say, no, players cannot join until a certain date if they're, to sort of release them from their responsibilities with a college. Even if he has graduated, who knows? There might still be something weird where he can't join until a certain time. So we'll see if that pans out. But I just think it's a neat signing, and it's probably not going to bear fruit immediately when he shows up. But who knows? Maybe 1, 2, 3 years down the road, if SAFC has a bit of a vacancy and if he's been able to develop his game behind the scenes, Joey Bartouni might exemplify that academy to college to SAFC first team pathway.
So I'm going to ask you this question here because Jonathan kind of already hinted this, Rafa. So far, the only other goalkeeper we have is Richard Sanchez, whose track record is okay, average, maybe above average if you're being kind. Could you see Sanchez start and then for the second half of the year having Joey come in and take over, since he does have experience with college? We saw Dane St. Clair come in, and I'm not saying that he's at the same elite level, but if SAFC and Marco feel that way, could you see him coming in and start? And Jonathan, check, your head's about ready to fall off.
I think with Joey, I think it's going to take some time. Just to kind of some background, like I said, some stats on him for this past season. So he did appear in 19 games with Virginia. He posted a 9-6-3 record. He did have a career high in saves with 58. He had a .744 percentage. That was third in the ACC, which ACC men's soccer is probably the toughest conference in the nation. He got 4 shutouts, and he was named Defensive Player of the Week. So he's coming in from a really sound program. Virginia's been, like I said, look at the pipeline of some of the players they produce, especially with the U.S. men's national team. Yeah, they'll lose. I think he's forgetting about the table. They're in third place right now in the L.E.E, but that's another story there. But Joey, like I say, Joey is going to bring in a lot of, coming from a kind of an elite program to that. Is he going to start? Probably not. But I see him being groomed to eventually, kind of similar to Cardoni, to assume the top goalie position within maybe could be a year, depends on how he develops, or 2 years from now. I do see us getting another experienced keeper, whether it's going to be through loan or through because we're going to carry 3, and I think Richard Sanchez and whoever we get, whether it's on loan or through signing, those 2 are going to be grooming him to eventually take that spot. But we're excited to have him because back on board here in San Antonio. I think graduation for them is May 18th or 19th, somewhere around there. So he may be back around, like I said, he'll be allowed because his season's done. He's already graduated, so I don't see any issues with UVA holding him back because they are going to start, I think, spring soccer already. He's not playing with them, but that's for sure because he's already about to graduate. So, I can see him, like I said, kind of getting over here. I think the sooner he can get here, the better. That way he gets accustomed with coaching, working with La Madrid, getting to know the players and so forth. But it's a good signing. This is a signing for the future. And who's to say, from a year, 2 years from now, he doesn't end up becoming our starting keeper for SAFC.
I'm not gonna roll him out playing this year. I'm based on the current goalkeepers that we have right now. I'm not ruling it out. Matt, your thoughts?
I mean, I don't see why not he would. I mean, he could be able to start this some games this year, maybe whether it be the Open Cup or
Probably Open Cup
or like a friendly. But I mean, he's gonna have some games under his belt probably this year. You never know. Also, I guess it just who depends you play in Open Cup. So, but nevertheless, I mean, I do remember seeing him play back when we were on the opposite side of the pitch. So he had his moments because I mean he was still young, but who knows? Maybe he with him bulking up and everything, maybe he might come out to be something pretty good.
Yeah, Darius, you're right. His graduation is after the Open Cup first round, which is mid-April. So unless he's coming in and training on the weekends or something along those lines, or doing this semester remote,
Could be doing
I don't know
that.
if that's possible. It's possible.
That's a high possibility too. He could be remote.
For here, but
online.
I mean,
so
we never know.
Open Cup, like I do think there's an outside chance, but where they mentioned that he's not going to join us till May, I think it's very unlikely that he's going to play at least in the early rounds of Open Cup. Go ahead, Jonathan.
Well, and so that's the thing. I'm glad. I think it was Darius mentioned that. Is you guys were saying, he could play in the Open Cup. I'm thinking, well, he doesn't get here until May. SAFC could, not to wish this upon them, but SAFC could legitimately be out of the Open Cup by the time he even joins the team. Okay,
we still got the Jaeger Cup.
And well, yeah, that's a possibility. Maybe we can talk about that depending on how much SAFC wants to experiment with those lineups. But also, for what it's worth, with the Open Cup, okay, yeah, SAFC might still be in the competition when he gets here, but by that point, you're playing better teams.
MLS,
you want to be a little more experienced in your lineups. So, I wouldn't hold your breath on him playing in the Open Cup this year. But Jägermeister Cup, sure, I guess it's a possibility. If he's the second choice keeper, especially.
That's the case. If he's going to come here in late May, so we're definitely signing another keeper. You're not going to have just Sanchez as the sole keeper there and no one back him up, because if he gets hurt, we're up a creek. And that's what happened last year. So they're going to sign somebody else. And I have a feeling they probably may do the same thing like when they're finding someone like Dane St. Clair, as far as through a loan, that he's a top prospect in MLS, just needs the minutes to develop. And I wouldn't be surprised within the next couple, because MLS does start in a couple of weeks. We'll probably end up finding out, we may end up seeing him, first game of the season starting for us. So, and I don't know who else is out there as far as USL experience, as far as maybe a free agent, but I have a feeling that's what I think maybe Ferruzzi's kind of maybe looking through there. Who's the top prospect for keeping that just needs minutes and that is may be able to get a loan?
There is a guy up in Austin, and I know you guys don't like Austin, but Damian Loss, that was with Louisville last year, has not been loaned out now. Listening to the podcast from Austin, Austin and Lou City play again, so the rumor is that that may be when it's announced. But at this time, as we're recording on January 29th, SAFC has announced 0 MLS loans, which historically they max out at the 5 loans that they have. And if you look at the roster availability, you add those 5 players, that puts you at about 22, 23. Pending anybody going out along those lines here. So, and I think that's why we're not seeing any quote unquote roster movement this week, is due to probably waiting for MLS to finalize their final rosters to see who is available. But I've been saying when Sanchez got signed, To me, like I said, to me it sounds like they're going down the path of a MLS loan for a goalkeeper, barring some late minute addition for that here. And Darius, you are right here. That he'll definitely play in the June-July friendlies for that here. That haven't been announced yet, but most likely will be coming. The next one that we're going to talk about here is Juan Sebastian Osorio. They said terms not released. Now, everything that I've been able to find shows that it's a 1-year deal, at least at this point for that here. But Juan Sebastian is a talented young midfielder who's 21, who has had excellent formation in America de Cali and was that Leon's FC of Colombia, said sporting director Marco Ferruzzi. His soccer IQ, possession play, range of passing will help our team control matches and phases of the game. We're happy to welcome Juan to SAFC. He is Juan Carlos Osario's son. So we'll start with you, Jonathan, just so that way we can get the media points or anything you want, and then we'll go to Rafa after that.
I mean, like you guys, I'm basing this entirely off of the press release at this point, basically. He's got a good amount of experience in South America. So hopefully that's trained him and given him maybe a bit of a different perspective than some of the other players. I mean, I know he's not the only one who has this kind of background, but he's one of just a few. So hopefully that's given him a well-rounded game that's able to translate here in the USL Championship, and hopefully it gives him the kind of development that he's hoping for, because I assume San Antonio is not where he wants his final stop to be at this young stage of his career. If nothing else, I mean, the name doesn't really mean much to me, but for some people, I guess this would be an exciting signing just because of his lineage. Hopefully, he's able to stand out from that and be a big name and a good figure in the San Antonio soccer scene in his own right.
Rafa, your thoughts? I know you're probably real familiar with his father, because I believe his father's had quite a bit of coaching experience in Mexico. He is a U.S. citizen because Juan Sebastian Osorio was born in New York, so he doesn't require an international slot. So your thoughts on Juan Sebastian?
He's a good signing. Like I said, soccer IQ's there. I mean, you're gonna when your dad's a head coach, especially for a Liga MX team and also for Mexican national team. He's been around soccer, so he's going to bring a lot to the table. Plus, some of the teams he's played, like America de Cali, is one of the oldest clubs in Colombia, one of the successful clubs there too. So coming up through the ranks with that, and then also with Leones he's gonna be ready to go. And I think you're gonna see the level of play that I think we've been kind of missing in that midfield. I think he's going to bring a lot to SAFC, and we'll see from there. Like so, hopefully maybe he stays in another year, or I think maybe he's using this to probably maybe make his way into like I said, either Liga MX or to MLS. But I'm expecting a lot of good things from him, and I think he's going to be a difference maker this year.
Matthew,
I mean, like Rafa said, his father probably got him good to where he's at. So maybe you're just seeing him only for a year trying to get into MLS. I mean, we don't know. Maybe he's just trying to get exposure.
MLS. Yeah.
Or maybe just the exposure. Because, I mean, remember, Europe teams are looking kind of more towards the USL now, more than MLS. That I'm aware of. Because, I mean, practically everybody in USL has been going to Europe or into a different league. So, I mean, maybe, like I said, maybe it's just for looks. We don't know. But hopefully he does great for us this coming season.
And I don't know if either one of you can answer this, but how is Colombia's Primera B level comparative to USL Championship, which is also D2 for United States? I don't follow South American football, and especially Colombia, that much here. Is it a step up, step down, kind of the same? I'm assuming South America is probably a little bit more physical, and I know that's kind of crazy to say because USL is considered a physical league. But your thoughts on the difference coming from a Colombia league D2 to a United States D2 league?
It's a little bit tougher league. It is a step up, not by much, but like I said, it is very competitive. But like I said, even like with the, knowing those teams over there, they play Libertadores and Sudamerica. So you got some ballers down there, So it's gonna be, like I said, it's a competitive league that you have to bring your A game in. I think that's maybe when they saw something in him, and he said, "Hey, you know what? He could be a difference maker, especially in our midfield." And like I said, if you watch his tapes, he's very involved, very physical. He's gonna bring a lot that we were missing last year, and as long as he stays healthy, I think he's gonna do. He could be that one for that breakout star for the team this year, and also to help complement to like Jorge and Mitch and so forth around that central mid area. So I'm excited, but he's battle tested. He'll be ready to go.
When I watched him, and I don't know if this is a fair comparison, but to me he played a little bit like PC, where it was that uncontrolled, controlled physicality. Where because if you look at his stats, he is somebody that does tend to carry a yellow card or two with him along those lines here. So to me, and I know you mentioned kind of something that we were missing. We were missing, like an American football, that dog in the middle of the pitch here. That because you got Mitch on the back line, but in the midfield, we didn't have that person that's that. I hate saying playing on the edge, but kind of that's what it was. Where it was cleanish.
we didn't have an enforcer.
Yes, exactly.
We're gonna have a bully, and that's what PC was. PC was a bully, but in a good way for us.
Well, PC and Rafa, we had the two of those that they weren't shy to back down. I'll just leave it at that. And then the next thing we got to talk is preseason. We're talking about practice. San Antonio FC announced its preseason schedule. They already played at Houston Dynamo, which we'll get to, Matt, in your divided support there. On Saturday, I think you're cheerleading for the team in orange more than you were the team in red for that here. Incarnate Word, UIW, the 8th versus SMU. A road trip to Corpus that is open to the public, $15 if you go into Corpus Christi FC. You can get it, or I'll try to see if I can put a link in the show notes. So on February 15th, if you want to travel down, 2.5 hours, depending on how fast you drive, to Corpus, get a look at them, and then coming home on the 22nd, getting to play El Paso Locomotive, who'll be here that week. As El Paso plays Houston Dynamo in San Antonio, I think that Wednesday for that here. And then we get another Houston Dynamo 2 team, so I'm sure Matt will be cheering for the Dynamo again for that here, through here. So thoughts on the schedule, kind of mixed. You get the MLS team at the start, not FC Dallas like we used to. A couple of college teams. SMU's probably an interesting choice, for that here. A high-quality D1 team, in the state of Texas. At Corpus Christi, a USL League 2 team, so they haven't kicked off, but they're hoping to go to League 1. The annual Locomotive friendly in the preseason, and then I guess we could say annual Dynamo 2, who fills in for the RGV slot for that here. So we'll start with you, Matt. Since Houston's on here twice, let's get your Houston comments and out of the way.
I mean, I don't have much to say. I mean, like I said, I wish we would have been able to see these games more than just one, but I mean,
You
from
get
what
two, you can travel.
no, but I mean, just more at home is what I'm saying. Like the one, like you Incarnate Word one, and I think since Dynamo's coming over here, there's that one too. But it's like I said, hopefully from all the words I got from some of the podcasts over there, it was a pretty intense game.
Yeah, there was a
Didn't
brawl.
seem
Well, somebody said it was a brawl.
there was a brawl. So that's what I'm saying. I'm pretty excited. I mean, if they're willing to get physical already, this is going to be an interesting team. So, and from what down the Bayou was saying that it was they gave us the formation, and I can't wait to see how this goes out.
Jonathan Check, I know you weren't there. If I know with your parents being retired, if you could have been there, you would have been there. Your thoughts on the preseason schedule and maybe the media gets invited to some of these, maybe not. We'll see here. You'll never tip your hand. But your thoughts on the preseason schedule that you see? I'm assuming you and your parents are going down to Corpus.
Sounds like it, yes. And then obviously the match here against El Paso the week after. Presumably media will be invited to at least that one. I'll have to find out. But yeah, I mean, it's a preseason schedule. Like you said, it's a variety of opponents. We got the one MLS opponent out of the way early, and obviously that has to be a little earlier than some of these other matches because their season's going to start earlier than all the other leagues. The thing that intrigues me is these next 3 weeks. You've got 2 college teams and then a USL League 2 team, like you said, kind of a semi-professional team, if you will. We haven't really seen those opponents for SAFC in over 5 years now. 2019 was the last time that I recorded SAFC playing any college or semi-professional teams like that. Wasn't really an opponent that Marcina felt the team needed over the last 5 years, I guess. And you can argue to an extent they didn't really. I mean, they had successful years despite not playing that kind of opposition. They focused on MLS. They focused on other lower division professional teams like them, and it usually seemed to work out well. Now, for what it's worth, half the time SAFC would also just say, okay, we've got enough preparation for our first team already. We'll just put the academy team out there. That has definitely been the case in a few preseason matches over the last half a decade or so. And I guess that's more when we reflect on the actual first match from this past Saturday. So I'll reserve that. But yeah, just interesting to me to see some of those college and semi-professional teams lumped back in again.
Rafa, your thoughts on playing college teams? Any thoughts on that? And especially a team like SMU, who I'm assuming probably has a little bit more talent than UIW. And I'm not trying to dismiss UIW, but SMU is I want to say they're in a bigger league than UIW is.
ACC.
I could be wrong. Well, yeah, so ACC. But your thoughts on kind of playing the 2 college teams, which I think is a good way to kind of develop the chemistry, develop a little bit more of the play from Carlos for that.
Yeah, it's more just to see what works, what doesn't work. Like I said, we're still not a finished product. We're still looking for a number 9. We're still looking for another goalkeeper. We're still looking at other areas. But this is more what I think Carlos wants to look to see. Okay, what I have, what can they do, what they can't do. Playing like UIW, it's a good experience. Especially for those college players. And I mean, if you kind of look at it, playing them and SMU, it's a good way to scout for talent for next season. I mean, there might be a diamond in the rough for one of them, especially with the SMU guys. Like I said, they've always had. I think they've had a connection with, like I say, with SC Dallas. So I'm sure Marco knows a lot about that program. So, and then we have that game in Corpus, which will be fun. It'll be fun to play down there. And then the sandwich with the 2 Dynamos. So I'm just a little surprised. We saw some of the other teams, like we saw Oakland playing a couple second division teams from the second division Liga Max. I would like to see something maybe like that. Maybe something playing maybe more competitive teams like that. because there are plenty of teams down there that they can maybe they take a trip down there, or they can come up here and play us, and I think that'd be a good. I mean, we had the Tapatios come here once, so and that was a good turnout. So I don't see why we can't have that. Maybe they'll try to look that in the near future, but it's a good schedule. It's a kind of to get everything going, and then, like I said, it's just I think the 22nd it's going to be kind of like your dress rehearsal.
Yeah, that one
for
is.
what you're gonna see in the first game of the season, and then the last game is probably just kind of a little warm up for more of it for your bench players to see what they can do, and then be ready to go.
Moving on, we're going to move to the Matt section here. The mighty MLS superpower Houston Dynamo drew against the San Antonio FC team here. According to the great Nicholas Murray, newcomer Alex Canale scored the second half goal in scrimmage at Houston Sports Park. Basically, to me, the big thing is the lineup, and we have something else to kind of go on that. Houston got the early goal off of a Griffin Dorsey. Around 25th, mid-20s, there was the tackle on, was it Arturo for the Dynamo that sparked the quote soccer brawl for that here. Around 30th minute, Mitch and Reese and I forget somebody else was subbed out along those lines here. Start of the second half, Canale off of, I believe it was off corner, headed it in, and then in the 57th, everybody's favorite trialist scored the go-ahead, a goal at that time, only to be equaled by Eric Denuis to end the game all square. I think, well, first of all, Matt, any thoughts from your side? I know you have a lot of connections with the Dynamo, with Bayou and other people here, but your thoughts kind of from their perspective on how San Antonio looked as far, if they had any, just how the game went outside of the Cliff Notes version that's passed to us.
I've been saying this since, I guess, 2 years ago now? It's been almost a year now since I've been with, I think, okay, so we'll say 2. Everyone over there compliments us. They believe we're a quality team.
There's a little rivalry between us, though, on the pitch.
On the pitch, yes, but when it's off the pitch,
yeah, no, I got you.
When it's off the pitch, they what's the word I'm looking for? They
respect.
They're very intrigued, and they're very intrigued with us because they, like I said, a lot of people were praying that we got that MLS spot. So they give us a lot of respect when we go and play them. We never, and from the words I've heard from them, we never disappoint. It's always a good match. They always go toe to toe. So that I'm aware of from that game, it was an actual, like, if they said it felt like an actual game because they got it. They both sides
for the
really
first
got
half.
into
For
it.
the first half, yeah, for the first half.
Until they put in the Dynamo
the
kids. So yeah,
which was the second half. Which, to be fair, yeah, that's the second half was mainly Dino Dos and SAFC trialists and reserves as well.
Mm-hmm.
For that here.
But like I said, they respect us and are very intrigued how we play.
Your thoughts, Jonathan, that you have before we get to the lineup? Further, any thoughts that you had?
I mean, it was just nice to see. For those of you who I may have referenced it before, but I do keep a sort of roster tracker of SAFC of what players start and get subbed on in every match, who scores, who assists, who gets yellow, red, all that. I am going to at least do that as much as possible through this preseason. So it'll be interesting to see. We kind of got maybe a glimpse of who Yamosa sees as the starting 11, but for all we know, we could see some rotation. We could see a different starting 11. How would Crognale and Tainer go together as a starting pair? How about Souahy and Crognale? So it'll be interesting to see that. But at least for now, this is all we have to go off of what we think Yomosa's starting 11 might be. We'll find out how much he sticks to it. And I guess just as far as there were, sounds like a lot of trialists, which is kind of interesting. You had 10 signed players in the first half, plus a trialist at what we assume is left back. And then you had a few subs, Mohamed Omar, Alex Crognale, and Shannon Gomez. I think those were the only 3 substitutes. Everyone else was just considered as a trialist. So you might have had as many as perhaps 8 players in that second half fighting for a spot on this roster. So that'll be very interesting to see how many of them actually make the cut. And of course, where they came from, is it guys who have USL experience? Is it guys maybe from those open trials that SAFC did exactly for the first time in however many years? So we just don't know. I mean, it's trialist 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc., etc. As many numbers as they need to do. And I guess that second half, you got a bit of a preview of how SAFC will close the preseason against Houston Dynamo 2, even though it was officially the first team. But hopefully by the time that match rolls around, SAFC will have a more solidified lineup. And even if we don't get to see that match, we get more information about that, about who's playing and all that. So it's preseason. You can't read too much into it, but at the same time, it's our job to try and read a lot into it as much as we can. And
what are you talking about?
Stick our necks out and end up being wrong in a month or two.
Why are we doing a podcast if we can't overrate the trialists? If we can't say, hey, SAFC is winning the title because we drew the best MLS team, according to Matt, in the history that there is. Messi, who, according to Matt, but all kidding aside.
Hey, I'm just happy to see that Dorsey still got it in him. So that's just me flip flopping, but I'm just happy to see Dorsey still has it.
So the lineup: Sanchez, a trialist. I still wonder if Nelson Flores Blanco is still out with Andrea recovering from that. For that here, Tainer, Alexis, Souahy, and I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name. Reese Buckmaster. Juan Sebastian Osorio got the start, which I was kind of a little bit surprised about. Jorge, Nicky, Luke in the 7, Juan Agudelo, and Jake LaCava up top. No mention of Dimitri, no mention of Soto, and no mention of Alex Grieve either, making an appearance through there. So those are the 3 newcomers that may or may not be here as of yet. Waiting for clearance. Rafa, your thoughts on the lineup? Anything that surprised you? It was reported as a 4-3-3. So this is how I have it. I know you might tinker with it a little bit, but your thoughts on the possible, the lineup, at least the personnel that was rolled out game 1.
I think what you see was where you're going to get from what the players we had available. So maybe a little surprised about trialist number whatever 237 or 200. Maybe Shannon could have started. Who knows? Maybe it's precaution. Like I said, also some of the players, probably had precautions. You're kind of limiting maybe some of their minutes and so forth. That maybe they recover from some injuries or whatever. Like I said, it's like I said, it was just more to see what you have, and and especially with this new, like I mentioned, we're going to end up playing a 4-back, which we are. 3 years we're playing a 3-back, and now it's something a little bit different. But like I said, this is a style that Yomosa is used to, especially under Souahy. We're going to move forward. Out of those trialists, maybe there are former, like Jonathan mentioned, there are maybe former USL players from other teams and so forth. That's how we found Abu, because Abu was a quote unquote trialist before he got signed. So maybe we find the next Abu on there. And I think they're kind of keeping wraps on who they're bringing in. Maybe they want to test out what kind of chemistry they have. I was a little surprised that maybe Yomosa didn't. I don't know if you did. Jonathan, did Yomosa have anything to say after the game, after the scrimmage?
There were not any quotes or anything put out from Yomosa or any players or anyone.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised about that. I would think maybe after the first, I know it is a scrimmage, but maybe his thoughts about what he saw firsthand as far as working with the players, kind of putting everything kind of to it. But hopefully, maybe he'll say something in the next game, for the next couple of games, because I like I said, I want to hear more from the coach. I want to hear more, especially now with this process. Because like I said, this is brand new. New system. New players, just kind of give the fans just a little heads up what to expect. What type of I know he doesn't want to give away too much, which is fine, but at least give a little bit just to kind of what kind of direction or how he feels about the players he has around.
And moving to our final topic, since Houston Matt bailed on us for that here. The Open Cup has been announced.
I don't know what happened. My internet just crashed.
Dude, the Dynamo fans were upset at you. They banned you. The Lamar Open Cormac, so it'll have a first round, consist of 32 games, 32 clubs from the Open Division going up against 32 professional teams. Winners of the first round will play each other in the second round, consisting of 16 games. The 16 winners will then be matched up against the 16 highest-ranked professional teams from USL Championship in the third round. And the USL Championships were seeded by conference, with the top 8 returning clubs in the Eastern and Western Conference based off 2024 regular season standings returning in the third round. 8 clubs from the USL Championship entering in the third round have been awarded seeds based on the 24 season, giving those clubs the right to host. And then the third round winners will square off against 16 MLS, 8 of which have been awarded seeds and will host. So we already know half of MLS clubs will host in the round of 16. The 8 teams that have to play in round 1: Birmingham Legion, El Paso, Hartford, Lexington, Loudoun, Miami, Monterey Bay, FC Tulsa. People, if our fan base knows this, but San Antonio FC technically was one of the 8th worst teams in USL. Now, there was a team that got promoted or paid to go up, and that would be Lexington. And there was a team that folded, which was Memphis. So San Antonio, much like being able to get away with 4 substitute windows that they did a couple of years ago, got the benefit of the doubt and play in round 3 as opposed to having to play in the first round and play 2 matches before they get to the round where they're at now. Obviously, with the 8 championship teams that we talked about, 14 from League One, 9 from League 2, including Corpus Christi FC. So if they did happen to play, I was like, ooh, we get to play Corpus Christi through there. But if not, the Next Pro teams, none of the Texas teams made it. NPSL had 7 teams in it, including last year's El Cerrito, the team from San Francisco that went far. And then the Open Cup divisions, when I was looking at it here, when I thought we were going to have to play, Furrow SC is the one that I thought they would, or Tulsa Athletic would have been possibly who we play. And, of course, the teams that are hosting for that here, Charleston, Switchbacks, Detroit, Indy, Vegas, Lou City, New Mexico United, all get to host and Sacramento get to host. North Carolina, Oakland, Orange County, Phoenix, Pittsburgh, Rhode Island, San Antonio, and Tampa through here. And then just, for us here, the round of 32, if we do get by that first round, Austin FC hosts, FC Dallas host. Houston does not. So it is a possibility that Houston could come here, although I think we all, at least I expect, to somehow magically, assuming we get by the third round, the return visit to Austin FC is what I would expect if we are to face a MLS team here. I'll just say through there. And of course, the third round starts out April 15th and 16th. The round of 32 would be May 6th or 7th here along those lines here. So a lot to digest. We'll start with you, Matt. Any surprises with the Dynamo not having the ability to host? Anything, us getting the pass through to the third round? Anything that you have?
What's the week? It doesn't say the week that the third round is, right?
Yeah, it is.
What does it
Third
say?
round's 15th to 16th. It's every other week.
Oh, what? I'm sorry. May? I don't think
Yeah.
anything should.
Yeah,
I don't
May.
think anything should be going on unless it's a dash game that's happening there. But
Well, the Dynamo wouldn't play until the round of 32,
Round of
May 6th or
32.
7th. Yeah, May
Yeah.
6th, 7th.
yeah, so the only thing I can think of is the dash playing at Shell. But hey, I mean,
No, it goes by their
Seedings.
Well, yeah, you're right, because Houston finished above Austin last year. So that is interesting. Yeah.
yeah, so that's what I'm saying. The only thing I could think it could be is the dash playing at home. So other than that,
But that's a midweek game, though.
Still, you never know.
So.
But yeah, nevertheless, I mean, shit, they came here. I'm not saying which side I'll be jumping for.
We know who you're jumping for. You'll be wearing orange. Let's just not.
Okay, if they can't bring their drums, yes, I'll be on the other side. I'll admit it. If they're not allowed to bring the drums, I'll go to the other side. But nevertheless, I mean, I would love to see that in action instead of hearing about it. So, I mean, just us playing an MLS team and showing off and beating them like how we did, it's just the best thing that I think we can do. So, yeah, I'm just excited to see how far we could do a Open Cup this year, and hopefully we'll take it somewhat seriousness until we get to past. Hopefully we can get past the MLS, and then I could be okay with it. But other than that, I do want to play an MLS team this year. That's 100%.
Jonathan, your thoughts?
Yeah, first of all, the first thing that I looked at was how many MLS teams would be involved this year after what happened last year. Up to 16. All right. Doubles the number of MLS teams involved. That's an improvement. Glad to see they're having a little less cheese with their wine. But then as far as SAFC goes, for those of you who saw when I kind of talked about this news on Twitter, I initially said, okay, well, they were one of those bottom 8 teams in the league last year. They'll have to play in that first round. That's 2 extra matches they have to fit in. And then I kept reading. Don't tweet about the news release until you've read the full thing, I guess, is the lesson here. And I go, oh, okay, no, apparently they will enter in the third round. And I think I might have called it lucky, but I suppose it just kind of makes sense with Memphis folding and Lexington kind of taking their spot in the West. That kind of just bumps SAFC up. What would have been, what would have been right above that playoff line into that top 8 teams. So maybe it is kind of lucky, but it's, I think, the most natural solution. It makes sense. So if anyone thinks, of course they find a way to get SAFC in there. No, I think it was just the most natural solution they could have done. SAFC benefits from it. SAFC is spared those first 2 rounds, which maybe is a little disappointing because you don't get to play some of those teams that you don't necessarily
I would have loved to have played Corpus
every year. Exactly, yeah. Like some of those smaller teams, at the same time you're risking an upset it's not impossible. We've seen SAFC. Actually, I don't know if we've ever seen SAFC lose to a team like that before, but I know the Scorpions did. So
Yes.
it has happened before.
They lost one at home in PKs to a team from FC Tucson.
I think they may have also lost to Charlotte Eagles at some point too. I want to say just a couple teams, but anyway, yeah, it would have been maybe a little fun to see some of those teams that we don't necessarily see as often that aren't even necessarily, like I said, always in the tournament. But especially because we know SAFC tends to have a bit of a smaller squad earlier in the season. Maybe it's a good thing that you get to avoid those first two rounds. So we'll see who ends up coming SAFC's way in that third round, and we'll see if they're able to get an MLS team. I mean, it's been, I think, 2, maybe 3 years now since they got to face one. I want to say Houston in 2022, and I don't know if there's been
2023.
Was it 23? Okay. My memory's a little fuzzy on that, but
because in 22 they played Austin, and they won the title that year.
Well, yeah, they played Austin. I could have sworn after that was when they went to Houston.
Correct. 2023.
No, 2022. Leon and 22 is that?
No, when Nashville? When was Nashville?
Okay, 2022.
That was last year.
That was
right?
Defeaters Kicks,
No.
Austin at Houston.
2 years ago.
2023. Leon
was Nashville.
At Nashville. Yes. Okay. Yeah. So it's been almost 3 years by the time those rounds come here. It's been 3 seasons since SAFC had an MLS team here. 2 years since they faced an MLS team. So it obviously did not happen last year. SAFC entered, fell at the first hurdle against Indy 11. Didn't even have a match here. So fingers crossed that SAFC is able to pass that first test, and I think pretty much guaranteed to face an MLS team, you would think at that point.
Oh, 100%. Because you're going to face off 16 advanced and 16 MLS teams. I like I said, you're going to be playing either Austin, Dallas, or Houston, and where San Antonio most likely is. I would have to think Austin, San Antonio is a match made for U.S. soccer. And I will say this, how SAFC got into the third round basically is so U.S. soccer where they get an advantage because a team pulled them.
Yeah, so I mean, really, you can find storylines with any of the. Presumably, it's going to be a Texas team that SAFC faces. You can find storylines with any of them. The Austin one is pretty obvious. I don't think we really need to talk about that. If you're watching this podcast,
2-1.
Houston, SAFC would get to host them. It looks like
not necessarily, because they can still. The teams that aren't seeded can still host. I think it still comes to a draw when it comes to that. It's just the seeded to host is those
okay.
There.
So it's just not guaranteed yet. And then
Correct.
FC Dallas, obviously, with Marco Ferruzzi, that was his former club, and technically Nicky Hernandez also. That's where he came through. So a couple storylines there. Any of those 3 Texas teams would be interesting.
And before I go to you, Rafa, I just have to promote Seriously Loco. El Paso Locomotive put out, "Hey, we're in the Open Cup," and Seriously Loco tweeted, "Yeah, we're in the first round because of last year's performance."
Ouch.
For that year. So, Rafa, your thoughts on the Open Cup and the path possible for San Antonio FC?
I mean, hopefully we do kind of take it serious this time and maybe be like Sacramento and make a run like them. I mean, it'd be nice if we get into Champions League. I mean, we can only pray, but then have Club America come play against us and take us out. But it's like I said, it'll be fun because, like I said, the teams that we're going to play, hopefully play like some of the Texas teams. Are we going to play maybe Austin or Houston? I was a little surprised that we played, Nashville that one year. I honestly thought we were going to play FC Dallas or Houston, the other two Texas teams. So they may, like I said, they may throw us a curveball and say, hey, you know what? We're going to send you to New York, or we're going to send you to go play Inter Miami or something.
No.
You bite your tongue. Bite your tongue on that. I need a Texas team.
I'm just saying, you just don't know with these guys.
I'm going to call bullshit on that. I'm going to call bullshit on that, Matt, because if, let's say, San Antonio did get the opportunity to travel down and play Inter Messi, I guarantee you'd be looking in the couch trying to find money to say, hey, let's take a road trip down to Miami to see Messi play San Antonio FC.
Royce will be there.
No, so but
Royce will be cheerleading.
But if the cards were reversed, and I don't think it would ever happen for Messi to come here, but that'd be something too.
Oh, but Miami isn't in the Open Cup, so we don't have to worry about it.
Okay.
So scratch that. So SAFC's never lost in the Open Cup to a lower team than a USL Championship level. Scorpions had 2 losses to lower teams on the pyramid. Yes, one of them was a PK loss. I still remember them to FC Tucson, and they had pretty good travel supporting, and it was embarrassing. So, but that was what. So, my final thought that I had. Well, not final thoughts. My SAFC still needs technical staff announcements because we have no idea who's helping. The coaches at this point, filling out the rosters and kits released are probably the top 3. Jonathan, am I missing anything as far as still needing to be going out from San Antonio FC in the next month?
Even merch?
Yeah, I mean the kits obviously still waiting on them. I guess the one nice thing is since SAFC has already announced that Charlie is the new sponsor, when we go to training, we're not going to be sort of under embargo, like, hey, don't for last year at least. I don't think I've ever said this publicly, but SAFC was kind of like, hey, so we already have our new front of shirt sponsor on the training kits, but we haven't announced that yet. So can you keep it hush hush? Can you not take any high definition pictures or getting too close up? They've already announced Charlie, and presumably the front of shirt sponsor is the same, so don't have to keep that hidden. But yeah, still have to see those kits. Curious what SAFC and Charlie might cook up. I know Rafa and some others are very excited about Charlie being the new sponsor. They're drooling over something as simple as just a jacket. It's the same kind of jacket you'd get from any manufacturer. I've said that in our group chat. I'm just saying.
But you're just a hater, man. Just a hater.
I just wanted more of the jerseys, really, because if you saw the one I pictures and some of the other teams like Atlas and Cholos and Pachuca, I mean, they've made some really unique kits, and I'm wondering if they're going to do the same thing with us. What kind?
Come on, Rafa. You think we're on that same budget?
Nope.
Hey, I mean, they're I wonder. Hey, they signed a contract with them, so I'm sure they're getting some money because. I mean, to be the official provider, I don't see why not. Especially in this market too. You got to also look at it. Charlie's very popular, also in the San Antonio area because, like I said, a lot of people do follow Liga MX, so they can relate to a lot to seeing those jerseys on TV. So I'm just kind of looking forward what our home kits are going to look like, what kind of away kits, and the quote unquote the special third kit. Are they going to put I hope they don't put a cat. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that. But hopefully they'll.
Can I give a hot take?
Dude, you just hate.
Yeah, no. I'm gonna give a hot take real quick. That cat needs to go. I'm tired of that dang cat already. It was just the one I don't know.
Dude, you guys are a bunch of haters, man.
I really do not like that cat.
The actual meme or the cat itself?
No, the meme of it.
Okay.
It ran its course after the second year, and I was like, all right, we need to get rid of it.
Dude, also, the thing that I find funny is the first time that happened with SAFC, I think after that, it was either a loss or a last second draw against RGV.
No, it was that match. Because of the cat delay. They got the bike to I forget. I think it was Escalante got on his bike, and that's how they. I think it was either a draw or a loss, but it felt like a loss no matter what the result was. Yeah, Edson used to talk shit to me about, hey, you guys celebrate Los Blancos.
Los Gatos Blancos.
Los Gatos Blancos, and you didn't even win the game.
Yeah.
But here's my counter to the two of you. We're bland FC outside of that. There is nothing SAFC bland. We need to have some sort of identity, whether it's Los Gatos, whatever, or whatever you want to call us. We got to develop something other than SAFC. Come on.
Well, okay,
I'm not.
We're gonna be Los Necios Locos. There you go. There's our mascot.
I mean,
there.
I've been trying to promote that for the longest time about the Necios, because I mean that's what we need to be. We got to be that kind of attitude on the field if you want to win. You're not just sitting back and relaxing. But I'm sorry, Rafa. Go for it. I didn't want to.
Tanner. I mean, Tanner's an SEO. PC was an SEO. Rafa Castillo was an SEO. I mean, we've had guys that like to poke the, you poke the bear, you get bit back, hit back. So I guess that's what they are. That's what we've had. We had a lot of SEO players on our team, and I think that maybe that's what we need to be called as far as getting a. I don't know if we're gonna get a mascot. I hope we want to get like Mr. Hanky from the Scorpions, but
you want a mascot? It's Robert. If it's gonna be the Necios, Robert's your Necio.
Anyway, I just to kind of maybe try and get us back on track. I don't. Oh dear. No. Why?
I created that. I swear to God, I'm the one who got that. I won that mascot thing. I won that.
Oh man. Anyway,
long live the Stinger.
Sting, yeah. Rest in peace, Sting. He's apparently the outfit is somewhere. If you ask,
I know where it's at.
They know. Yeah, they know.
I know exactly where it's at.
Anyway, I don't necessarily have a problem with the Los Gatos Blancos branding and sort of nickname. I just think it's kind of ironic that people celebrate it, and it's like you don't actually have the best track record when, well, at least when that cat showed up. There was another cat that showed up last year, and Helen Marcina actually kind of asked me about it, and I was like, the funny thing is, the cat showing up is not usually a good omen. But anyway, kind of getting back to what you had asked about, though, I will point out we do know, I guess, at least one member of Yamosa's staff. And it shouldn't really come as a surprise, but we saw a picture today SAFC put out with Juan La Madrid. So he's still around the team, still goalkeeping coach, presumably. I guess maybe still academy director, since that was a role he had taken on. So that's at least one piece that we know is still around, I suppose. But the assistant coaches obviously probably have more turnover. We have no idea on those, I guess. I guess we'll maybe find out over the next couple of weeks. Keep an eye out on February 22nd for who's on that sideline with SAFC. But for now, yeah, we don't know anything. And I could maybe, I'm not going to bother, but you could always look up when SAFC tends to announce these things. They
usually a couple weeks before the season kicks off. Yeah.
Yeah. So you'll get those announcements eventually, presumably, maybe, possibly 50-50. I don't know. Yeah, that's pretty much all on those three things that you just wanted me to touch on.
And I would probably.
I think our.
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, I think our kids probably make their debut against El Paso. I have a feeling that's going to be on that day.
That's why
because it's a STM event. So I have a feeling that's going to be the debut of the new kit.
But I think earlier in the week they may have a season ticket member kit release, like what when they did the checkered one, it was at Cowboys. For that here. What, man?
I say hard no on that because remember when I got in trouble the last time? I tried to ask about that. They said, "Oh, we don't remember doing that."
Well, the historian,
I got pictures of it. They want to see it.
Jenny Check can classify that. You got in trouble for a whole lot more. But let's also not forget this one here. The little scrolling bar here at the bottom.
What if it's on the 7th at the paint the tunnel.
Maybe.
They,
And NFL wise, F the Chiefs. Fuck the Chiefs for that here. The only thing that makes that better is Duval. And I can't even say how crazy that the new Jacksonville coach said that. Cowboys fans are super happy with Shoddy Ball again. Final thoughts, Matt. You know whether you want to talk about your favorite referee that you have pinned up over in your room, or whatever you want to talk about.
Well, that's the MVP, bro. Referee. That's the MVP of the NFL. But I'm very happy that the Chiefs made it. Whether it's because of the refs or because of their gameplay, either way, I'm happy they made it again. Now I got a little rivalry in the office with one of the managers. So there's that. But
don't get fired, man.
Oh, trust me, he's a talker. But like I said, I can't wait to see what this season comes out to be. I know I'm missing the 22nd match because I'll be actually in Houston watching the Dallas match. Hey,
I won't be there either.
Let's put it this way.
I have to work on Saturday.
If they would have announced it before, I would have went to SAFC. But now my whole family planned to go to Houston, and I'm taking my brother for his birthday to the Dynamo match. So,
do you hate your brother, man?
No, he wants to go. It's for his birthday. He wanted to go.
Dude, I might have to call CPS, man. That's borderline child abuse, man.
So there's that, and then I can't wait.
Plus,
to see
you do have season tickets to Houston Dynamo. Let's not forget that.
I'm still not selling my Inter Miami ticket. We're gonna go to it, so let's see how that goes. But yeah, final thought is just hope. Can't wait for the season. What are we? 4 weeks away? 5 weeks away? 4 weeks away? So
4 weeks.
Can't wait to see it.
More like 5, I would think.
Yeah, 5. Yeah, but
we're already through this week, man.
Okay, but this week is basically the end of January. The season starts on March 8th, I want to say.
9th, yeah.
So 5
weeks.
4 weeks.
There's only 28 days in February.
29.
Okay, so that's 4 weeks.
Oh,
and
this
then
year's
March
a leap
8th
year?
gives you another week. Harry, count with me. 1, 2.
I'm going with the month, buddy. Dude, it's a whole week. It's a whole week of transactions. Come on.
5 weeks.
4.5.
Come, Harry.
Anyways, we're skipping Jonathan because I don't like him right now. Jonathan, your final thoughts before I ban you from the show?
Finally, I'll be free. Anyway, so yeah, I will just say on an actual serious note related to SAFC, finally got the much awaited email today. First training that media will be allowed to go to is going to be tomorrow. So figure out what exactly we'll be writing from that. But it'll just be nice to finally get into that rhythm, get that going. I'm a little surprised they waited a couple weeks in, but I guess maybe SAFC just wanted to enjoy some training without prying eyes. I guess I'll take some pictures, however much people want to try and glean from them, we'll see. But it is, as we know, a new era for SAFC, new head coach and all that. So turning over, I guess everyone turns over a new leaf here. It's I guess it's starting to feel kind of real now.
Rafa, your thoughts?
Just like I said, looking forward to see if we have any more signings coming up. I anticipate there probably will be, maybe or maybe they're finalizing a couple of things with some players. Hopefully the ones that have been signed do come, like Dimitri. That's the one I'm really looking forward to. See how he hangs there with the team and Alex, and like I said, so we'll find out more sooner, I guess, closer to the season. And should be a fun game, I guess. I know we probably won't be able to see it, but should be a fun one with the UIW. little local flavor game, and looking forward to tomorrow. Also with the roundtable, I get to finally experience my first ever Mercy game.
Me too.
Which I'll save that experience for tomorrow. Yeah, we both did the same week, so I get to. That was a trip
yours?
there. So,
Whose was yours?
It was at Northside.
O'Connor girls beat Marshall girls 8-0.
Yeah, I was at Salado last night. Very impressed with the team. So, I'll save some more of that so people can tune in, hear my opinions on that. It's an experience, and I have my opinion about the mercy rule too. So we'll talk about that tomorrow.
Maybe we should invite Lethal. He has some pretty good opinions on it as well. Final thoughts for me. Like I said here, watch what you're saying on social media nowadays. I know First Amendment matters, but it's a different time right now. I'll just say we're all going to be impacted positively and negatively. Just make sure you're probably tightening up the buckles right now, kind of watching what you're saying, especially if you got teenagers, kids. I can tell you my daughter's already had a discussion about what's going on through here. So just as a parent, make sure you're having that discussion with your kids. Hopefully they're not impacted, but being here in San Antonio, it's probably not going to shock most people here that most families will know somebody or will be impacted by possible decisions that are coming down. So just be courteous, kind, do the right thing. Maybe keep your head down a little bit right now until things kind of stabilize for that here. Like I said here, is just, like I said here, it was an eye-opening thing, when Anna was talking to me about a heavy subject at school just with some of her friends, and it kind of hit home that being here in San Antonio, like I said here, you love your neighbors, take care of your neighbors, and just be careful and be aware of your surroundings right now for that here. So, but hope everybody has a great night. We'll see if Royce is back next week, Sunday. We'll try on Sunday. AJ wanted to play soccer, so that's why we didn't do a show on Sunday. So still kind of fluid as far as when here, but we'll try to have a show on Sunday. The Spurs just lost. They need to make a move for that here if they're going to make a serious run to the playoffs. For that here, but what's life without goals? We're out.